Yes, welcome once again, everyone. Cannabis News with Joe Klare. It is January 30th, 2019, presented as always by the Marijuana Times. Check us out at marijuanatimes.org. Much great articles there. Click the video tab for this show as well. It is awesome, as you know, because you are watching it. Of course, we're on YouTube and Vimeo and Apple Podcasts as well. Just search the Marijuana Times on there. Today, we're talking about Joe Montana. We're talking about Trump's Attorney General pick and a Billboard creating a bit of a buzz. Get it? It's a cannabis pun. See? Buzz in Connecticut. All of that. I'm sorry. That's a little more sarcastic than I expected it to be, or I meant it to be. No, than I expected it to be. We'll stay with that. All of that is coming up here on Cannabis News. But first, of course, Cannabis News is brought to you by Natureside. Nature-side.com and their organic, all-natural pesticides. Grow safe and poison-free. Don't use harmful chemicals on whatever you are growing. Be regulatory compliant if you are a cannabis grower in a state where it is legal. All of these things can be accomplished and more simply by checking out nature-side.com. Side is spelled C-I-D-E. They are a proud sponsor of Cannabis News. Go check them out. They are awesome as well. This first story is by yours truly over marijuanatimes.org. NFL Hall of Famer Joe Montana's big marijuana investment. Now, the basic premise of the article, the basic bit of information I'm trying to get across is the fact that Joe Montana is part of this investment group that's just put $75 million, invested $75 million into legal cannabis and the legal marijuana industry, which is great. You know, the cannabis industry needs big names. It needs big money. It needs investment dollars coming into the industry. That is what's going to grow the industry and make it more effective for consumers and for employees and for everyone. Now, I relate a little bit of a personal story in the article, which can be found in the description of this video, where you can find it, of course, at marijuanatimes.org. I won't go into it here. Suffice it to say that I have mixed emotions. As I said, people like Joe Montana getting into the industry is great. It's great press. It's great investment-wise as far as the money goes. But I have some mixed emotions because, well, as I said, I relate the story in the article about the time that Joe Montana, San Francisco 49ers quarterback, made me cry. So you go check that out at marijuanatimes.org. As I said, all the stories I talk about on this show are linked in the description of this video, and that is one of them. But hey, Joe Montana. I'm not gonna give it away. It's a good story. It's a good story. Go check it out. I highly recommend it. It's another pun. Wordplay. This next story is from Forbes.com. Trump Attorney General pick puts marijuana enforcement pledge in writing. William Barr, President Trump's nominee, to serve as the next U.S. Attorney General, made headlines earlier this month when he pledged during his Senate confirmation hearing not to, quote, go after, unquote, marijuana companies that comply with state laws. We talked about that story on this show as well. Now, in response to written questions from senators, Barr is putting that pledge on paper in black and white. He's also calling for the approval of more legal growers of marijuana for research, and is acknowledging that a recent bill legalizing hemp has broad implications for sale of cannabis products. As discussed in my hearing, I do not intend to go after parties who have complied with state law in reliance on the Cole Memorandum, he wrote, referring to the Obama-era cannabis enforcement guidance that then Attorney General Jeff Sessions rescinded last year. All in all, as I said the last time we discussed the story, and Barr himself has said he's not for legalizing marijuana. He doesn't need to be for legalizing marijuana. I don't care. It doesn't matter. All he needs to do is leave states and leave businesses alone who are in compliance with state law. That's it. Move on. Lots of crime. Lots of malfeasance, a lot of shenanigans, tomfoolery, all kinds of stuff going on. The Attorney General can go worry about. Leave cannabis alone. He don't have to be for it. I don't care. Be against it. So what? Just don't let that have the force of law. It's an opinion. People are against cannabis legalization. They're against people using cannabis. Whatever. I don't care. As long as it has no relevance on my life or the life of any other cannabis consumer or user or seller or grower or tester or manufacturer or whatever. It doesn't matter. So leave it alone. It's my advice. If, the Attorney General nominee is looking for advice. But it looks like he's already got that in hand. As I said many times with Jeff Sessions, it's not a winning battle. There's no victory in the Attorney General going after state legal marijuana businesses. Is not going to end well. This last story from NHRegister.com. Legal weed billboard creating a buzz on I-91. New billboard put up by the app company Weed Maps on Interstate 91 is announcing that, quote, weed is legal 60 miles away. Very helpful reminder for people driving down the road that's just about an hour away. The message likely refers to the recent opening of the New England Treatment Access Adult Use Cannabis Sales Store in Northampton, Massachusetts, which is about an hour drive from the New Haven area. Marijuana can be purchased there for recreational and medical use in accordance with Massachusetts state law. Connecticut State Police have reminded residents here that recreational pot is still illegal in Connecticut and can't be brought across the border. So obviously you go buy it in Massachusetts. You come back to Connecticut, you can still be cited by police in Connecticut. But this is a pretty, well, as far as politically, this is a smart move, and as far as it'll put pressure on Connecticut state lawmakers to kind of, see the writing on the wall, see what's going on in states that surround them, and realize that the prohibition of cannabis doesn't work to begin with, but it's going to work even less if you're surrounded by states that have legalization. Legal marijuana, as the price comes down, is going to pour into your state, and people are going to get it anyway. So this is a reminder to a lot of lawmakers in Connecticut who are considering cannabis legalization this year, adult use legalization this year. The governor is one of the things that he pledged to do and pledged to focus on, the new governor of Connecticut. Lawmakers can see this, and it reminds them that, this is inevitable and you need to get on board. It's right there. It's right there. Why should Massachusetts get all the advantages that come with that? Why shouldn't Connecticut? Why should people in Connecticut have to drive to Massachusetts to buy legal marijuana? Why? Many, many questions. But anyway, good job, Weed Maps. Well, I want to get a billboard. We need billboards. I'm going to put in a request for that. See if that's in the budget. Get some billboards going for the show. Maybe it won't come to pass. But, all I can say is no, right? That's cannabis news for January 30th, 2019. Thank you to NatureSide, nature-side.com, and their organic, all-natural pesticides. Thank you to everyone who checks out marijuanatimes.org and uses this show to spread the truth about cannabis, who likes and shares and comments on the videos. You all are awesome. Please continue to do so. And thank you for watching and listening today. And we'll see you next time right here on Cannabis News.